Hey guys, I'm going to show y'all real quick how rain sensors work for your irrigation system. And this is mainly for the basic type of sensors. There's a lot out there, but the ones you typically find in your house are going to be your Rainbird and your Hunter. And the Hunter one's called we have a wireless one, but then we also have the MiniClick. They operate all on the same basis for these basic ones. There's a synthetic disc that's inside these, and what happens when it rains, they will swell up and they will send the signal to the controller letting them know that, hey, we're wet, cut the water off, don't irrigate anything till I dry out. And they're pretty basic. So right here, this is the Hunter MiniClick, and there's not much to it. You have a little way to set it right here. So you can set it from 1/3 of an inch to 1/4, half to 3/4 of an inch of rain. I do find that even if we have half an inch of rain, which can be plenty, if the air is dry after that rain and we have a lot of wind, these can dry out within a day sometimes. Depending on where this unit is located, if the sun's hitting on it, the wind's hitting on it, they can dry out very fast. So it is a tool to have. Don't rely on it 100%. But if you do have one of these and you want to check it, you can actually get to it, whether it's on your roof or on a fence line or somewhere. If you turn your system on somewhere where you can see it from where your rain sensor is and push down on this till you hear the click, it should shut the system off. That'll let you know it's working. And if you have one of the wireless versions, it's a little bit easier. So here is the Rainbird wireless module that should be mounted. If you have this, it should be mounted next to your Rainbird controller. And this will give you a little display. It'll let you know that it is connected wirelessly to it, and it'll give you the signal strength, and you can also get the battery status as well of the sensor, because there is a battery in there. They last a very long time, so it's nothing you have to worry about on an annual basis. But it'll give you a couple other settings on there that you can adjust, how much rain, and then you also do a manual override on those as well. But like I said, they're basic. That disc, when it swells, they can dry out very fast, or sometimes they can take a while if the air is real humid. If it's located in the shade, which you don't want, or you also want to make sure these are not located somewhere where the dew in the morning will drip off onto them and cause them to get wet for when we don't have any rain. So there are a couple things to think about on the location of them, but you can go out and test them pretty easily. The wireless ones are better of just walking to the controller and seeing that they are connected and doing their job. But it's about once a year, probably good to check it. And do know if we get a lot of rain, it might be a good thing to go ahead and turn your controller off if that rain is enough to carry you through a week's worth, or even 2 weeks worth in the wintertime. Little tip that I do is that when I turn my controller off, I will leave the door open to the irrigation controller. That way when I'm walking by, I do know that it is in the off position, and when I close it, it is in the auto position. So little tip right there, just so I don't forget that it is off. They don't have I'd say a really long lifespan on these. I typically replace these faster than anything else on an irrigation system. A lot of times the valves with the diaphragms in there start wearing out, but I find these for some reason going bad, whether they're placed wrong, they get hit, they get knocked off, or the wires get cut to them because they're just running bare up against the fence and a weed eater gets them. But they're not expensive, and it's probably always good to upgrade to a wireless one if you have one of these. They do make a number of other ones that are going to be a little bit more on the fancier side. They do cost some money, but you will get an actual rainwater catch bucket in there, so it'll measure a little bit better. It'll take into account the the sun that it's getting, so it'll pick up on that. You can also get a wind vane on some of those. Just kind of depends on how much you want to spend. With the technology we have now, a lot of times with the smart controllers, you can pick up a number of the weather stations really close to where you live. So getting too far into these isn't necessary. You can get the rainfall amounts and wind and humidity and all that pretty quick. Just be careful with those, because if it rains 2 inches a mile away from your house, doesn't mean that it rained anything. We know how that goes. We can go quite a bit of no rain, and then down the street they're washing away. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and thanks a lot.